Hello, Dents MC here with another Charlie's Angels summary and review. Broadcast on February 23rd, 1977, Dancing in the Dark is the 19th episode. The Angels are hired to stop a blackmail scheme that is run out of a dance studio targeting the wealthy and vulnerable. Sabrina goes undercover as a socially inept heiress, with Bosley as her doting father. Jill joins the dance studio as a new instructor, and the Angels trick the blackmailer's cameraman away so Kelly can be his replacement. This episode features John Van Drelen as blackmailing dance studio owner Alexander Cruz, Logan Ramsey as Cruz's private eye cameraman, and Dennis Cole as dancing star honey trap Tony Bourdonnais. Cole will return as different characters in seasons 2 and 3. And he will also briefly marry Jacqueline Smith. Also in this episode is Jean Allison as blackmail victim Laura Kluzak, who hires the Angels. She will play another character in Season 2. And Benny Baker as scene-stealing dance patron Murphy Murphy. Interesting scene of the episode is during the briefing when Mrs. Kluzak quote-unquote hires the Angels to stop the blackmailers. I put emphasis on the quotations as the lady does capitulate to the villains, but is now broke because of it. At no point in the briefing do Charlie or Bosley discuss a fee, or even what they'll get out of doing this potential charity case. They all just get right to work like some sort of police force. They do get the lady's money back, plus a large sum on top of that for themselves, but that's action that comes well into the middle of the show. Interesting quote of the episode happens when Bosley and Sabrina are sitting in her car watching the blackmailers arrive at the phony mansion where Charlie is posing as Sabrina's father. Bosley says, "Not a bad operation. Our client gets her $10,000 back, plus interest, and a nice retainer for the office." Sabrina replies, "And no dented fenders, huh, Boz?" Bosley double takes with a sour look on his face. I suppose this is a dig at all the times Boz chided the Angels on the damage expenses during their usual car chases. An interesting quirk of this episode is that there is no scene of Charlie in his office talking to Bosley or the Angels. Instead, we get him out in the field twice, first as Bosley's limo driver, and then as Sabrina's second phony father facing the blackmailers. Although I have been keeping score on how many funny old ladies hire the Angels for a case, I wouldn't consider 48-year-old, at the time of filming, actress Jean Allison quirky enough to be part of that statistic. The title refers to the single sung by Bing Crosby in the 1930s. While on the surface a simple tune about dancing, there are hints about the public's dark mood caused by the Great Economic Depression afflicting the United States at the time. Considering how violent the opening was, the rest of the episode plays a pretty fun atmosphere with all the dancing and scheming on both ends. As my summary states, it's a pretty standard blackmail scheme with a male dancer seducing a mark and a sleazy private eye taking photos of their embarrassing tryst. Blackmailer Cruz is played as a suave, almost honorable villain, going so far as stating he wouldn't lie. Bosley and the Angels actually one-up stopping the scheme by getting their money back and more. Charlie hires the private eye cameraman and sends him on a bogus all-expenses-paid mission out of state. Kelly poses as his assistant and meets with Cruz in his stead. She quickly charms Cruz and even impresses him when she increases the ransom sums. Sabrina poses as an awkward heiress, complete with those Coke bottle glasses that first appeared in Angels on a String. That dancer Tony seduces until he can get her into a compromising position. Jill has the least to do undercover, becoming another dance instructor for Cruz. Still, Jill has a rather fun scene dancing for her interview with a big trademark Farrah Fawcett smile on her face the whole time. Somebody should turn that scene into a gif. Murphy, a rather flamboyant dance patron, winds up dancing with her. Twice. Seriously, I think Murphy is only in this episode to pad time. In fact, the episode is packed with tiny little time wasters that are still fun to watch. Like Kelly's talk with Cruz while she downs a whiskey in one gulp while he looks on with shock. Or Sabrina playing Scrabble with Boz while they wait for a call. And yes, chutzpah is a legitimate word. Anyway, once Kelly takes the compromising photos of Sabrina and Tony, They ransom them to Bosley, who is posing as Sabrina's father. Blackmail of this sort being illegal, the Angels can actually take what they have so far to the police. But like I said, they one up their game here. It comes to Cruz's attention that Sabrina's father is still away on business, so the man they ransomed the photos to must also be a schemer. Getting them back by paying Bosley more than their original ransom, they take them to the real father, played by Charlie, who denies that Sabrina is even his daughter. So no getting a huge payout or even their original money back now. The private eye cameraman returns early unexpectedly and tells Tony that Kelly is not his assistant. After taking her prisoner to Cruz's bowling alley hideout, Jill arrives to give Kelly a hand escaping. During the fight, the private eye falls over and Cruz actually seems concerned for the man's health. You know someone is going to get bowled over in a bowling alley, and it's Jill who throws a strike against a gun-wielding Tony sneaking up behind Kelly. In the epilogue, back in the Townsend office, we get to hear that the recovered blackmail funds were split between the original customer and themselves. IMDb gave this episode a 7.3 out of 10, and I'll gladly bump it up to 7.5 as it's a standard plot, but better than average direction and pace. But more than that, it's an episode that only Charlie's Angels could get away with, being charming rather than action-packed. While it's not my favorite due to the ridiculously violent assault on Mrs. Kluzak at the very beginning, and first impressions are crucial, you can't deny that each and every character in this one gets to shine in their own way. Charlie included for once. Good morning, Charlie.